Cheers. I wanted to talk to you about symbols and how important they are in the human world. A pipe, for example, is a symbol. As you can see on my cup. This is a reproduction on a cup of a piece of art by Rene Magritte in a series called, I think, The Treachery of Images. And there is some treachery in the way that we see things. There's a line of French along the bottom of this cup as there is on the painting itself. It says, "Ce n'est pas une pipe." Please excuse my poor pronunciation. As far as I understand it, that means this is not a pipe. Looks like a pipe. It's a bit cartoonish, but it's a pretty good reproduction of a pipe. My grandfather, I think, used to smoke a pipe. Or maybe it was my godfather. In any case, you remember the smell that comes out of the pipe, the kind of tobacco you pack into the pipe. You remember the glow of the amber nugget inside the hollow of the pipe as the smell increases in the room. A pipe brings all sorts of sensory stimulation as it serves its function in what we know as reality. So as much as this looks like a good pipe, I probably couldn't smoke it. If it was a painting, I suppose I could roll it up like a joint and smoke it. But that still wouldn't be a pipe. And even if I fashioned the painting like some strange paper mache project into a pipe and then awkwardly tried to smoke out of it, it still wouldn't exactly be a pipe. This is a cup, not a pipe. This piece in painting form was a painting. It was a reproduction of a pipe. And the statement that this is not a pipe, whether it's reproduced on a cup or a painting, implies that it's not an actual pipe. It implies something about reality and representation. So much of our world is our representative projections of our values and expectations. We see this combination of colors on a surface and we call it a pipe. We automatically look at it and think that's a pipe. But clearly, this is not a pipe. And it isn't a pipe. As I said, I don't think I can smoke out of this as a pipe. I could probably take the cup and make a bong out of it somehow, and that would be a form of pipe. But this thing itself is not a pipe. So now that we've established that, what does it mean for us in 2021? Well, increasingly, we are interacting with and relying on ephemeral symbols that have no tangible representation, nothing but colors represented on a two-dimensional surface on these slate enslavement devices. I'm being a little dramatic. You see, I very much enjoy the functions that my cell phone provides and the augmentation to my nervous system that we all enjoy on a daily basis. We have the vision of a hawk And we have a memory that as long as we don't drop it in a toilet, that part of our memory in our phone will likely stay with excellent clarity. The problem is it's not us, it's a phone. And increasingly we are accepting an idea of what we are that is an imaginative projection. The hopes and dreams of science fiction authors were on the cusp of a jump-off point, a launch period, where some of us, at least, may be leaving the kinds of limitations that define us as human beings. And that's happening on many levels, from genetics to computing to artificial intelligence. And as much as some aspects of quantum physics have become stale, there's exciting things on the horizon waiting to cause a revolution. So back to symbols. This is not a pipe. This also means that every picture of you on Facebook or Instagram is not you. That's a frozen symbol of you. That is your best angle, then often augmented by filters and color touch-ups. And increasingly we're believing that these symbols we create of ourselves, these ideals, on the various mediums that run our entire lives, are us. And we have expectations that in the real world, in life, in our relationships, we will be these ideals. But those ideals aren't real. In some cases, the story we paint for ourselves of who we are, picture by picture and post by post, is almost a cartoon character, a caricature of ourselves. It's very rare that the hard parts, the messy parts, the bloody, gross, disgusting parts, the parts that are just difficult to deal with, maybe we don't have words to describe, those are also life, and those are very important in how we define ourselves. The hardest, most painful parts of our life sometimes are just what makes us who we are, even if it's getting through and on the other end of those difficult things that defines us. And if we just see ourselves by the string of happy pictures that we present to the world, at some point, we're going to miss the point. At some point, we're going to miss a lesson. At some point, we're not going to want to go and do the hard thing that looks like something the opposite of what's represented on Instagram. Life does not have an iPhone filter. But increasingly, young people are believing that they can put filters on life and not feel pain and not experience suffering. The thing about this pipe is that even if I were to take a little bit of paint and create a burning red cherry on the top, extruding from the edge of the lip of this pipe, if I were to touch it, it wouldn't burn me. There are things that burn us in life that we must learn from. The point is not to thrust ourselves into the fire, but we must accept that these things come along and teach us in life. Increasingly, we're making our lives into a fairy tale, and fairy tales are great teachers for children. But how old are you? So the next time you post a symbol of yourself on one of these mediums, just remember, it's flimsy, it's two-dimensional, and you probably can't smoke it. It's definitely not going to smoke you. Sometimes life burns us up. Sometimes there's very little left after the fire dies down. But in the ashes is something beautiful.